Yeah. Hi, I'm Felicity and I'm a teacher of music. So I've always wanted to teach, right from primary school. So it was just a thing I've always wanted to do from a really young age. Not necessarily specifically music, but definitely working in a school. I didn't decide on secondary until I was a little bit older, but it was definitely a really big interest of mine, and I've just always stuck by it. Sort of teachers have always said, "Oh, she'll change her mind, but I just never have. I think it's really important to make your expectations really clear. That's something that I've sort of during training, when schools have already got their expectations set, you kind of presume that it's already going to be done for you, but I've learned over time that you still have to set your own expectations of classes. But it's also creating an environment where the students feel really safe, but there's also that mutual respect between you and the students that you're teaching. I'd say I'm quite loud and enthusiastic. I hate it when you call the name on the register and they just mumble back at you. It's just so dull. I just love a bit of enthusiasm. So I feel like if I do it, the students are more likely to be enthusiastic back to me, and I think that's really important because especially in a practical subject like music, you just want it to be fun and them just to go away and feeling like they've had a good lesson and that they've enjoyed themselves and just being able to express themselves as well through music. If anything, it's been the uni work, not necessarily the teaching commitments. That's the bit I've probably enjoyed the most. I love all the planning and sorting out my lessons for the week, but having the uni assignments on top does make it sometimes challenging to focus on what you actually need to achieve in school. So it's definitely getting that balance. I just make sure that at the start of every week I look through my freeze and plan what I'm going to do in which one, just so it's really specific what I just need to achieve. I think it's sort of having the end goal in sight and really taking into account that you're doing it for a reason, and when you get into the world of teaching, you're not going to have all the uni work on top. I mean, obviously there'll be different kinds of workloads and different things you have to do, but the uni work is only a short-term thing to help you achieve what you really want to do as a career. I think don't underestimate the impact you're going to have on the students. I think sometimes you think that subjects, for example English, where they're seeing them so many times a week, they're going to have more of an impact than if you're doing a subject like music, where you might only see them once a week until they get to GCSE level. But you're such a big part of their day, and you want them to have a positive experience in your classroom. And students that I've seen sort of over the last 6 weeks, say, even if I've only seen them once a week, the development that you see, even in that short amount of time, in their personality but also in their musical ability, is a huge amount, and it's so rewarding. It sounds really generic, but it is really rewarding to see that development. I think developing teaching skills takes a lot of time. You can't expect to come in straight away and be like a top-notch teacher that's doing absolutely everything right, and I do understand that even finishing like training, I'm still not going to be a perfect teacher, and even through my NQT year as well, there's always room for development. So I think it's not setting your expectations of yourself too high, because it is a challenge and it does take time, and then also to bring your own personality to the classroom. Obviously there's so many set things you have to follow that you've been taught to do in the classroom, but I think you still need to have that passion and that enthusiasm, and just remember who you are as a person and why you're doing it and why you're teaching the subject that you're teaching. I love seeing the development of their characters over time, and just forming positive relationships with them. I just find that like at the weekend or during the holidays when you're not with them, you really start to miss being around them, because they just make you smile. Like even if you're having like a bit of a low day, they always manage to do something or say something that makes you laugh and just picks you back up again, and you're always having to just put on a smiling face anyway. And I just find that really lovely and rewarding, that they can it just always boosts your mood just being in school. So I'd always thought music, but through placements I've sort of discovered that I'd really like to take more of a pastoral role in the future with my career. So moving forward, I'd like to one day be a head of department, but then maybe move on to taking a more pastoral role, being like a head of year, head of house, or a deputy head. I've got a real keen interest in like character development and character education, and I love seeing students develop through education as a whole, not necessarily through one subject. So I'd like to really be part of a student's full development through their time in school across all subject areas.